On today's show, there's still no news, so let's do some more of your questions. We're talking M2 iPad Pro, we're talking iPad aspect ratios for video, iPhone 14 versus iPhone 15, M2 Max MacBook Pros, and where to find Apple's old keynotes. Plus, pizza versus stuff, and why the Apple Watch Series 3 is terrible. This episode is brought to you by DataCamp. Throughout this week, we've been talking about the awesome courses that DataCamp have to offer, and I've been working through some of them myself. Specifically, the Data Science for Everyone course, which introduces you to all the career paths and branches of data science with no coding needed. But the first chapter of every course in DataCamp's 350-strong library is available to watch for free, and once certified, you'll have DataCamp's career services team to help you land your dream job in data science. Once you've followed the courses, you can apply what you've learned in the practice sessions or full-on projects to really test what you know. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your new career opportunities and become data fluent today. Use my link in the description box below and check out the first chapter of any DataCamp course for free. Thank you to DataCamp for supporting iCave Dave. I'm iCave Dave and I simplify Apple so that everything just works for you, and if you want the latest Apple news, leaks and rumours every weekday at 12 UTC, like the video, subscribe to the channel and ring the bell. And that new t-shirt drop is coming at the end of this video, so don't miss that. But let's get into the first questions. Randomness asks, iCave answers, hi mate, after hearing the M2 iPad Pro rumours, I sold my iPad Pro 4th generation and I'm really excited for the new design. What do you think Apple will do differently? I'm looking forward to the glass back with a fresh design. Hopefully they'll increase the screen size too, but maybe that's just me being hopeful. I love the 12.9-inch screen and miss my iPad already, so I hope they release it soon. I want all your thoughts on the M2 iPad Pro. So, M2 iPad Pro, yeah, I think it's probably going to be coming in the spring. For the last 2 years, we've had iPad updates in the spring, so it makes a lot of sense for me that they would do that. I think it'll still be 12.9 inches for the larger one, because I think they'll want it to still be compatible with the existing keyboard docks that they've already made, but also potentially have a MagSafe connection in the back, right in the middle. So basically you're going to aim your MagSafe puck at the Apple logo on the back. That makes a lot of sense to me. The chassis, I'm not quite sure. I know we're talking about glass backs, but I think we could be looking at stainless steel or maybe even titanium for the rim on this. I think it's going to have very much the same kind of shape and look a lot more like the iPhone Pro models rather than the iPhone models and the iPad Pro that we've had in the past. And that's my best thoughts on this, but let me know in the comments if you guys have any other thoughts. Maybe we'll even see that next Apple Pencil that can pick colour from your environment. Randomness also asks, iCave answers, why doesn't Apple let you change the aspect ratio of the native TV app for movies like VLC does? I have to convert all my content, everything to make the video full screen on my iPad, and it's really annoying to get the aspect ratio to support the iPad's 12.9-inch screen. And Apple doesn't support MKV. Do you think they will add support for it in the future? No, honestly, I don't think it's going to be coming to it. The MKV format tends to be one of those ones that is used almost exclusively by sort of pirated and torrented movies, so I doubt that Apple's going to be doing a great deal with that. Don't get me wrong, it can be used in other ways, but it tends to be for that. I would also say that Apple wouldn't support changing the aspect ratio of videos to fit the iPad because the videos aren't filmed in that aspect ratio, so you're either stretching it, which will look weird, or you're cropping something off the sides, which means you're not getting the full movie, or, you know, there's something along those lines going on, which is not necessarily what Apple would consider to be an optimal movie watching experience. But in most of the video apps, you can double tap to kind of crop the video to fit the screen, so just double try that, and maybe pulling it apart as if you're zooming in. That works in some apps as well. iCave answers, will the iPhone 15 be a bigger upgrade than the 14, or should I just buy the 14 Pro Max? Waiting for them to increase the size to 7+ inches, but I'm getting impatient. Bigger iPhones always sell. I wish the iPad mini would support making calls. I would just use that as my daily phone. I think it's perfect. What do you think? I think the 14, from what we've seen, if it matches up with the renders that we've seen from John Prosser and company, I think that's going to be one of the biggest upgrades in years, and I'd be very surprised if the 15 was looking any different from the 14, Obviously, it's going to depend on what's internal to it as well. It looks like we might get our periscope cameras with this version. I can't imagine that the 15 is going to have more stuff in it, but you never know. And the problem is, we can't tell you because we don't know either. Okay, answers. I didn't buy the MacBook Pro 16-inch M1 Max this year because I think the M2 Max will be much better. Any idea when that will come out with Face ID? So I do think we're going to get the M2 Maxes next year, but it is going to be that October time slot. Face ID, yeah, I think that's what they want to do, but it does depend if they can overcome manufacturing issues, because there could well be problems with actually fitting the sensors into the thickness of the lid. Yes, they've got the space sideways for Face ID, but whether they have the depth into the display or not, whether they can miniaturize those components enough, is the difficult question to ask. Brandon L asks, I gave answers, pizza or just kidding? Do you know where we can find the older Apple keynotes? Apple's removed some of the older keynotes, including the original iPhone, from the keynotes channel. Yeah, for this, I tend to find kind of second-hand versions of the keynotes, because even Apple's recordings of them weren't great back then. However, if you just type in product name introduction into YouTube, you'll pretty much always find it. So if you put original iPhone introduction, there will be a bunch of sources there that you can watch it from. Evan Rogers asks, I gave answers tacos or pizza. Evan, pizza is one of the options here, so pizza's going to win. Pizza always wins, we know this. However, I do like me some spicy food, so I'm not going to completely rule out tacos, but remember that pizza is the generic, it's the easy win answer. So anything you put up against pizza, almost certainly going to lose. And Linda Lawson asks, why is the Apple Series 3 watch horrendous? And yes, the reason that I say this, and my wife has one, we bought it for her a while ago. It was when it was the cheaper option already, because she had a previous watch with a swollen battery, so we did a swap for this one. It's just so old now. That's the problem. It's so old, it struggles to do basic things, like, for example, an update from Apple. At the moment, although this may have been resolved now, you basically had to restart your watch as a new device if you wanted to upgrade it, because there was only just enough storage on the entire thing with everything blank apart from the upgrade. It was just an absolute nightmare of a situation, so you just couldn't do upgrades really properly. It's not had any new watch faces since, I don't know, 3 years ago, at least 4 years ago maybe, because as soon as Apple went to the larger display size, all the new watch faces just went to that size and scale. And that's why when the Apple Watch Series 4 was released, there was this huge kind of fanfare around the new face that had the extra 4 complications around the edge because the screen was bigger. Yeah, Apple really likes to do those exclusives to kind of push people over to it. But also, it's just so long in the tooth. It's been at £199, $199 for 3 or 4 years now. That's pretty crazy. I feel like the SE needs to take its place at that $199 point. And yes, it is time. The new t-shirt is here, and ta-da! That's what it looks like. So we've added in a bit of a background. It's got a bit of a slightly retro kind of feel, like the earlier versions of OS X that came out sort of Snow Leopard onwards, I guess, is when we started to get the galaxies. So I feel like that was a nice little touch. We've also got all your emojis down there in the dock. It's all up in the store, so you can go and grab one right now. And of course, thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for being here. Very quick personal update. I have got a new job. I've been working with the theatre, which is where you saw me with Tom Hiddleston. Any excuse to show this picture again. But I have been offered the job as bars manager there, so they're having a whole refit at the moment. And I will be working there with the catering team to kind of develop the offer and stuff. So that's why you've seen me in shirts a couple of times. Not today. But I am also recording this at 1 in the morning because I was working all night. So things are a bit better on that front. Just wanted to let you guys know, and thank you for all the support and the kind messages, and we'll see you in the next one.